Picking up our coverage from World News Tonight with David Muir now. Former President Donald Trump will have more court days in the coming months and possibly even years after he was found guilty on 34 charges of falsifying business records in New York. But Trump and his legal team are not done fighting and plan to appeal the decision.
The judge set a sentencing date for July 11th, but before that can happen, a pre-sentence report will need to be prepared, which could take up to 6 weeks. That report will contain sentencing information so that the judge can go back and look at and then build from there. He's the ultimate decider of what exactly happens. Now, the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, who brought this case forward, will not say if he will request prison time. An appeal by former President Donald Trump would be heard in the appellate division of the New York Supreme Court. This case could also make it all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Now, Arizona does have a law on the books that says a convicted felon does not have the right to hold public office. So what does that mean for the former president and his status on the Arizona ballot? Here's what a former assistant U.S. attorney told us.
There are very few requirements that are laid out in the Constitution for what it takes to run for president, and it's not mentioned whether or not you can be a felon. So because it's not mentioned, you can possibly run for offices run for president as a felon, as a convicted felon.
He goes on to say if Trump were running for a state office in Arizona, like governor, he would be ineligible, but because the presidency is a federal office, he can still run.
In the midst of an election year, fallout from the Trump trial verdict in New York might be seen for months.
Yeah, Rachel Louise Just with our ABC 15 political team talking to voters about how Trump's conviction could impact their decisions for president and some of the down ballot races as well.
Today's historic off the Richter scale event is that big, but we live in a time where it may not have any real impact on the general election outcome.
News made on Thursday that generations will read about in history books. But political experts we talked to weren't convinced they'd change the results from America's ballots come November.
It's a contest where both candidates are really just trying to push on the other one's negative attributes, and that can turn people off.
But it's not just Trump or Biden you'll see on your ballot in November.
This helps people that are down ballot, that are supporters of President Trump. Only a little, but it does help them because it I think energizes the Trump constituency.
Voters we talked to at the park Friday said they were fueled by the decision when it comes to the presidential race.
It motivates me to get other people to vote because I guarantee you I'm going to vote.
We met Trump supporter Cal at Chaparral Park in Scottsdale.
Look, I had to change it to 24.
But it's down ballot races where voters may be able to make their voice most heard. The state legislature is very narrowly divided between Republicans and Democrats, and some anticipate the legislature could flip from Republican to Democratic for the first time in decades. While Cal says he plans to vote for Trump, he didn't have much to say about down ballot races. Neither did Lucy Costner, who says she'll be fighting against another Trump presidency, but she's still on the fence for smaller races.
I feel like I'm in the middle, and I guess I want to go to the right some, but I don't feel like I have a choice because of the madness that the right wants to engage in.
And she's not alone.
Do you pay attention to what's happening more locally?
I don't have the brain power to I would lie if I told you I paid that bit of attention.
Now, candidates will be trying to win over voters like them.
My expectation is that these down ballot candidates are going to be scrambling, trying to think of exactly what they want to say. Some of them are going to fall right in line with Trump. Actually, a lot of them are going to fall right in line with Trump.
For ABC 15's political team, I'm Rachel Louise Just.